Hi, this is Bison, your host, and in this position you have to find a mate for white. If you put this in the engine, then it will say that this position is completely equal. But that's not true. There is a possible sequence from which we can checkmate black. Okay, so let me help you out. Here you can see that black king is close to getting trapped, and black has only this d3 square where it can go. So that's why we will leave this pawn for black king, and we will simply play queen to e5, pinning this rook. And now you can see a sudden jump in the engine, which is now saying that this position is completely winning for white. Okay, so here the only move is to capture this pawn. Now we will give a check again from our queen, and the only square left is c3 square. Okay, queen to e3 check, rook to d3, and after this we will give a check from e5 square, and the only move is to defend this with the rook. Now after this white can push his a pawn, and since this rook is pinned, so that's why this king is forced to move again. Now we will give the same check with the same idea of pinning this rook and then start pushing. Now you can see that again black is forced to move his king. Now I think you all understand the sequence, which is we will give multiple checks to king until we promote our pawn, and after these multiple checks, finally we will promote our pawn to queen. And now you can see that white is threatening to play queen to f3 check, and to stop this the only move is rook to d5. But now that's over for black, because white will simply give a check. Only move is rook to d3, and we will give a check from our queen again to pin this rook so that we can checkmate black. Comment down that how many of you finds that sequence. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.